Lying about 25 miles or 40 kilometers off the southern mainland coast of Ecuador is Isla de Plata, which translates to Island of Silver. It is also known as the Poor Man's Galapagos. In October 1961, a research team from the University of Miami was handed a single specimen of an unusual shark by a local fisherman who had caught it off the island. This specimen, later described as new to science, has become known as Ecuador's lost shark. My search for Ecuador's lost shark begins as many of my journeys do, in the fish collection at a museum to research the species I'm searching for. I begin here in San Francisco, at the California Academy of Sciences, which houses one of the largest fish collections in the world. We're at the California Academy of Sciences today, and I've come here to look for the specimen, one of only two known specimens of the sharpfin hound shark, and it happens to be here at the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. I searched the collection's database to find the accession number. Once found, I head to the collection room to pull out the specimen for examination. Although the species was discovered in 1961, it was not until 1968 that it was formally named. This is not unusual, since the average time to describe a new species is over 13 years. The importance of this specimen cannot be underestimated, since it is our only confirmation that this species ever existed. Important is because specimens like this represent like a historical record. It's a document, an artifact, like you'd find at a museum, at a typical like historical museum, or like in a dinosaur bones at other museums. And the reason I want to look at this here is I want to confirm that this is indeed a good species, what we call a valid species. And this is actually a valid shark species. And so by looking at this confirmation, you'll be able to confirm that, and knowing where this shark came from off Ecuador, now we can begin our journey to Ecuador, to go to Isla de Plata, to talk with fishermen and other people there, divers, and see if we can find this specimen, because this hasn't been seen in over 60 years. And the concern, we hope that it has not gone extinct. But we'll begin our journey now to go see if we can find this lost shark of Ecuador. Before leaving the California Academy of Sciences, I stopped by what is known as a type room to visit some old friends. The white-spotted ghost shark, Hydrolagus alphus, and the Galapagos ghost shark, Hydrolagus macoscari. These two ghost shark species I described with a couple of my former graduate students, Dr. Louis Barnett and Kim Caranta, back in 2006. When new species are described, a holotype must be designated and deposited into a museum to serve as a unique voucher specimen for the new species. The holotypes of both the white-spotted and Galapagos ghost sharks are housed at the California Academy of Sciences. Galapagos ghost shark, Hydrolagus macoscari, I named after Dr. John McCosker, the former director of the Steinhardt Aquarium, who collected these specimens in the Galapagos Islands in the mid-1990s and was one of my mentors early in my career. Dr. McCosker, among his other accomplishments, was a pioneer in white shark research. After visiting the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco, I begin my journey by traveling to northern Peru. This area was once known to big game fishermen for its big marlin, and where the 1958 movie, The Old Man and the Sea, based on the novella by the author Ernest Hemingway, was filmed. Today it's known for its surf break, the Peruvian pipeline. I've come here to investigate historical reports that the sharpfin hound shark may have occurred here at one time. I'll be visiting several towns and villages to speak with fishermen, to learn from their experiences and knowledge the kinds of sharks they see and catch today, and how what they catch today compares with what they caught in the past. Learning from local fishermen is one of the best ways to find out what's happening in the ocean, because they are out there every day on the water over decades, and they see changes that most scientists will never experience or see firsthand. The cold, nutrient-rich waters of northern Peru are influenced by the Humboldt Current, also known as the Peru Current. This is a highly biologically productive ecosystem that accounts for 20% of the worldwide catch of fish. The first town I visit is the coastal town of Acapulco. Here I will be meeting up with my colleague and good friend, Adriana Gonzalez Pestana, a dynamic young Peruvian shark researcher. She's an adjunct professor at the University of the South in Lima, Peru, and she's currently working on her PhD. Adriana has worked in northern Peru and in these fishing communities for over a decade and knows many of the fishermen well. She has learned a lot from the fishermen in these towns and has gathered data for her research. Adriana explains the changes she has seen in the catches over the past decade and explains some of the challenges the fishermen face, from piracy on the high seas to drug cartels to declining catches. Being a fisherman in northern Peru has its risks beyond the natural elements of the sea and weather. We check out the daily catch of sharks and rays and meet some of the fishermen who, like fishermen everywhere, like to talk. We meet with and talk with fishermen and show them pictures of the shark we are looking for. We pass out posters and place them in strategic locations with contact information in the event someone sees or catches one of these sharks. As we talk with the fishermen, a pattern begins to emerge. The younger fishermen, those under 50, have never seen or even heard of this shark.
Señor, y usted que sale hace mucho tiempo a pescar, ¿habrá visto este tiburón, este toyo, lo reconoce?
Claro.
Older fishermen, however, like Julio Balona, age 75, has been fishing in these waters since he was 12. He says that they used to catch this shark 30, 40 years ago along the coast and points out an area where he used to see it.
Allá. Aquí no, allá.
¿Puerto antiguo era para
Ahí en ese huertito, ahí era el puerto antiguo. Eran como pues ya de tanto investigado.
¿Usted por qué cree que ya no queda?
Julio tells us that overfishing is why this shark has disappeared. We thank him for sharing his knowledge and leave some posters with the fishermen and continue on our journey, stopping at coastal towns and villages to talk with fishermen as we travel north. It's the same story at each location. Older fishermen know the sharpfin hound shark, while younger fishermen do not know of it or are familiar with it. Our journey takes us to southern Ecuador, where we visit the coastal city of Salinas, where we visit the Santa Rosa Artisanal Fishing Port, Puerto Pesquero Artesanal de Santa Rosa. This is a busy fishing port that receives daily landings of large pelagic sharks, including threshers, makos, blue sharks, among other species. And even smaller pelagic species like the little-known crocodile shark is landed in numbers. But also, in addition to pelagic species, coastal shark and ray species such as seven-gill sharks, hammerheads, tiger sharks, guitar fishes, electric rays, and butterfly rays are also landed. We've stopped by to meet up with our colleagues, Walter Gonzalez and Gabriela Flores Rivera, Walter's wife. Both are fisheries monitors for the National Action Plan for the Conservation and Management of Sharks in Ecuador. They monitor these fish markets on a daily basis to record what's caught and to talk to the fishermen. Both Walter and Gabriela show Adriana and I around the market and introduce us to the fishermen so we can examine and see what's being caught. Afterwards, we thank them, and I leave a copy of my pocket guide to the sharks of the world with Walter and Gabriela, and we depart north. Heading north to the seaside town of Puerto Lopez, the gateway to Isla de Plata, and a rendezvous with destiny as our search for Ecuador's lost shark continues.